Meeting of the Transit Advisory Committee to order at 6:10 PM on Thursday, September 28th, 2023. And we don't have a quorum, but we can just go through and discuss items that are on the agenda.
Yeah, so we can't approve the minutes, obviously.
We won't be approving the minutes, that's right.
There's no public.
And there's no public input. So we have under old business, we have operations report from Heidi Muller.
Before we do that, Nancy, can we just go through the roster here? So we're missing Mr. Waterman, we're missing
Mr. Frankie.
Mr. Frank, and we're missing Mr. Carlson. So it doesn't, we just need to make sure for the minutes that,
Right,
yeah, whoever transcribes those has that down there, so.
okay.
And Mr. Waterman is excused. He let me know that he might.
And
not
Mr.
make-
Frankie is also excused
Yeah, for family.
for
Right,
family
okay.
reasons.
Okay.
Only us two are actually on the board. Or no, you're the one that's there. On the board, I'm not even on the board.
Yeah.
Correct.
We just have Nancy. And so the good news is Nancy has a firm background in this, so it's pretty open to, we can chat about this as much as you like. We'll just kind of go through things so you can get familiar with it. So Heidi, normally we have our contractor here to give us the operations report, but we'll get to why we don't in a few minutes, but Heidi will give us the operations report.
Yes.
So every meeting we go over what's happened in the last 2 months.
Yes, just give me 1 second here to get it pulled up and share my screen. I'm still getting used to this whole new system, so my apologies. There we go. Alrighty. So here is our weekday ridership for route and services for this last end of month that we did in August. So with our 99X, our numbers are a little bit down from last August, but we are still in percentage of 6% of increase in ridership. Also, our rides per hour has gone up by about almost 4%. Our Canby Loop is still exploding in a good way. Last month, we had 1642 for passengers, so we're up 77, almost 78% from last year. So pretty big jump. And a lot of high schoolers are using the service right now and stuff, so that's also helping. Our demand response is a little bit down. Our general public has increased by almost 12%. So overall, for weekday ridership, we're up about 15%. And then,
Before you go on,
yes.
just one thing I want to point out about this report is every month is a little different. So we run Monday through Friday, and then we run Saturdays. And since every month is a little bit different, some of these numbers go up and down, and they look like large jumps. And really what you have is just additional days of operation during that month. So August had quite a few more, like several more days of operation. And so I think those loop numbers are probably more of an anomaly because of the extra days in August, and they'll be back down around 12 to 1,300. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can read it. That I can read on my screen.
Just, no, she can make it bigger.
Here, let me,
My screen. I'm with you.
Can you shrink this this guy here? Just send it down to the.
oh, yeah, sorry.
That'll
I
help too.
can, yeah, let me get rid of that little screen for you.
And just move it up there. That'll help.
There, does that help?
That helps someone.
Rides per hour, from May, so compared to May, June.
Yeah, I do it every 4 months, just to kind of help with the comparisons.
And we're doing year-to-year comparison because we have seasonal
Fluctuations. Yeah.
Ridership.
Mhm.
We have rides per hour. I'm curious, you know, I'm just
No, no, ask
away,
questions.
yeah.
That's what I'm here
Very
for.
much like to analyze data.
Yep.
One of the things I'm wondering, maybe you know not, is what, how many people per bus does that?
That's a harder number to give you because,
But my, the reason why the question is that I'm assuming that some buses are at certain times of day are
yeah,
full,
absolutely.
Mhm.
and some buses at certain times of day may not be full at
When you
all.
want to pull up our Passio screen, can you do that from here?
Yeah, let me stop sharing real quick,
And I'm not
because,
taking up too much time.
No, I mean, honestly, we don't, the rest of the stuff on the agenda is so small, that we can go through them fairly quickly while she's pulling that up. We'll just burn through these real quick and we'll come back. So as far as the new building goes, so just so you know, we bought property back in 2019. This is before my time. It's right behind us, right behind Wilco and that building there where the vet is. We own 2.2 acres there. We've owned that since 2019 and we've been trying to get a building started forever because we rent right now. And COVID hit and everything else. Well, I finally got an RFP out and I've got an architect engineering firm that will be able to start to design that building. And that'll be coming before the council either the end of this month or the beginning of November for signing that contract. So we can start to get the design of this building done so that we can stop renting and move out into our own facility. We already park our buses there. And the rest of it's just a giant molehill and trees. So it'll be a nice building. Our transit master plan comes to the city council next Wednesday. That will be on the docket there to approve. That is so the transit master plan, every time I apply for a grant, they ask, where in your city's plan is this project that you're applying for, right? Whether it's to continue service on the 99X or the continue the loop service. And that's what they're looking for, the master plan pages. And so we have a firm come in and they do a bunch of outreach, meet with people, and they also analyze our services and they analyze the city's growth and they look at our future and they come up with what they call the master plan, which is recommendations for what people want and what they think would be the best fit for our ongoing future. And that plan goes in front of the council approves that plan, and then we use that plan for any growth or reductions in the future. It lasts about 5 years before we have to do it again. So you'll see that this next Wednesday. It'll be in your packet when you get that, so.
These master plans, if I can
Yeah,
ask questions of somebody who doesn't know anything about it.
sure, yeah.
But out of curiosity. So they run from, let's say, 2023 to 2028, and then we start one over again?
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
we do that, and the good news is there's usually grant money for it. So in this case, the master plan update is about $200,000. The state is providing $160,000 of that. So
So is there a reason why it goes from
they just ask us,
every 5 years instead of doing it once a year for the?
it's just the state is just kind of set a,
That sounds like a little bit of a kind of a 5 years and reset for another 5 years, or is it?
it's not really a reset. It's sort of a, where are you at? You know, what'd your old master plan say? What's your new master plan look like?
You have to read them and.
Yeah, it's like a transportation system plan, but theirs are for 20 years usually. And they update them every so often, or a parks master plan. I don't know how often those get updated. The transit master plan is, and the state hasn't said a firm must be done every 5 years. The recommendation is that you redo it every 5 years, you relook at your master plan. And sometimes those changes are minor and it's minor updates and sometimes they're major. This one will be fairly large, I think, because our last master plan had, we need to implement Saturday service, or we should implement Saturday service, which we did. We should start the Canby Loop, which we've done. We should add bus stops, which maybe we'll get to, because that's part of the 99E project.
Or at least doing improvements.
Yeah, so the only thing we haven't done that's in our current master plan is Sunday service. And I have, at this point, no intention of starting Sunday service because we just can't fund it and I don't think the ridership is there. So now we need to relook at where's the city need to go from here. I think probably the loop will probably need to be divided into a couple of loops, or as we expand, we put in Walnut Street and we start building businesses out there. I think there's a plan for apartment complex out that way as well, or multifamily housing out there somewhere. We'll probably have to look at adjusting where the loop goes and seeing. So this master plan will help figure out where things should go. And ultimately, that comes before the council, and the council gets to go through it and talk about whether or not they want to approve this or whether they want some changes made, so it's just sort of a guiding document for us to tell us what we should do. And then when we go to the state and say, we'd like money for this, they say, show us where in your approved plan this is, and we say, on these pages, and we upload those to the state.
To make sure that the state knows we thought about it.
Yeah, basically. That's a good way to put it, yeah. And then real quick on the contractor, so our manager, we contract out with TransDev, also known as First Transit. It's a 3-year contract with 3 one-year extensions, and we always have an operations manager that they assign to our facility. He's quit and gone to work somewhere else, so they're in the process of finding us a new operations manager, which is why he's not here, because he doesn't work here anymore. So they'll hire somebody else and install somebody else to manage that, yeah.
The operations, I guess your contract out, it's,
The bodies.
and so this is basically, I don't want to say, this sounds crass, but like we're contracting out for a EO or something to cover the driver.
Yeah, so the contractor is basically for the bodies, the people.
Okay.
So it's,
We own the buses.
we own the buses, we own the facilities, we own,
We do the maintenance for the buses.
we do,
Contractor.
yes, we do the maintenance
The only thing that the contractor does is find people to work for, right?
and pay them and do their benefits and
Yeah.
hire them, fire them.
Like
And
we like
dispatch, yeah.
What we call them a PO.
Yeah, that's basically.
Where you lease out employees from somewhere else.
Yep, yeah, so and so they have their own operations manager that manages those folks, and then they take care of making sure the buses get out. They are supposed to doing all the scheduling and stuff like that for us to make sure that the routes run correctly. That's their job. And, my job and Heidi's job is to make sure they do that correctly. And so change of operations manager is always challenging because it means that somebody new has to come in and relearn everything. And so there's usually an adjustment period. So Scott was a good manager, but he found a better gig. There's a lot of better gigs out there right now. So they're looking. That contract comes due this next June for an extension, and that will be brought to the city council after I negotiate, and we'll see what the city council says then.
A better gig, does that mean more pay or does that mean?
He makes more money and better hours, yeah.
So if we wanted to be more attractive,
Well,
we have to have better hours and more pay.
Well, they would need to be. We don't set that at all. We don't,
Yeah.
that's not us, so.
The contractor is fixing that, they decide how much they want to share.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. They bid on a per hour rate basis. So we pay them $80.34 for every hour of service. So when the bus is running, we're paying that particular bus time $80.34 per every hour.
For every bus per every hour.
For every, yes. So
We have 2 buses, 3 buses. How many buses do you have running?
about 5 to 6. It's about a $1.5 to $1.7 million a year contract. So, yeah, it's expensive, but yeah, it's the #1 biggest cost in any business, and drivers are, the most expensive piece of that puzzle. Plus you have manager, dispatchers, those are the folks behind the phones that schedule and make sure all the drivers are where they're supposed to be.
They have part of the contract?
They are part of the contract. Yep.
There's only 2.5 city employees.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call Melody a half city employee. She's
No,
probably
she's-
as good as
she-
both of us
she's-
combined, but she works part-time.
She's like a 4.
So there's
She's
me,
amazing.
the director. I also manage fleet, which is 2 bodies. Then Heidi is the transit coordinator. She is dedicated to transit, and then Melody is dedicated to transit. She works part-time. So she works Monday through Thursday, 5 hours a day. So she handles all our administrative work and then so much more on top of that. So it's been great. And I think that's it on those things. Paul is back. Paul Waterman was on the advisory committee. Then he started working for the city in the IT department. And so he was no longer qualified because you can't work for the city and be on the advisory board. So then he quit the city and went to work for Wilsonville, and so he said he wanted to come back. And so he is technically back, but unfortunately he's out of town today. But Paul helped us actually, when we got this contractor, Paul helped us with that when he was here, so that was great. All right, pull up CTS, or not CTS,
Passio.
Passio. We're gonna show you, hopefully we can answer some of your questions with data, because you like data. So about a year ago, we installed Route software, and what the software allows us to do is monitor things more closely. Instead of everything on paper, now we can do it digitally. So we're able to get a lot of this data. So what you're looking at here is on a daily basis, break that down a little bit further.
What, well,
Let's break it down by hour. Let's look at yesterday and let's do it by hour.
Yesterday by hour, you got it.
So it's harder to do it by bus because we have some buses that are doing dial-a-ride, some buses that are doing fixed route. Dial-a-ride being you go to your house, pick somebody up, take them to the store. That's generally our elderly and disabled service. And then we have our fixed route bus. That's the one that goes from Oregon City to Woodburn or the loop that goes around. So
I'm just gonna do your 99X for this one.
okay, so it's hard to break it down by rides per bus because the 99X will have a number of buses or people on it, and the fixed route will have like one or two. I mean, the dial-a-ride will have like one or two. And the loop may have, 10 to 15 or 2, and same thing with all of them. So what we've broken down here is this is by hour. So the 99X from Oregon City to Woodburn is an hour and a half.
I just did the schedule, so I should know this by heart.
It's
It's about an hour and a
About-
half,
yeah,
an hour
give or take.
20.
And so you can see the break is, so we generally break this down by hour to see what kind of ridership we get. So you see, we start at 5 o'clock in the morning and we really only have about 6 people. Those are usually our early commuters. And then again, at 6 o'clock, you have about 9 people. And then when you hit 7 o'clock, we bump up to about 22 people. So they're all gonna be roughly on the same bus, most likely going to Oregon City, because that's probably our largest ridership at that time. And again, at 8 o'clock, you have the same thing. So between 7, 8, and 9, that's where you get your commuters going in. Then we drop our service down to every hour. And then you have a 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you notice your ridership is a lot lower during those times. And then it starts to pick up again in the afternoon. We get to about half-hour service in the afternoon again for commuters because you start having more people in the afternoon. And then we drop back down to every hour again in the evening. And then we have one final run where apparently one person rides fairly consistently. So we have a bus for one.
And then,
So my curiosity says, is it the same big bus for the one person as it is for 25 people?
So the answer is, that depends.
I'm trying to imagine that we have a small bus for the smaller time and a bigger bus for the big time, or is it the same big bus?
So it's usually the same bus. We only have 3 of the big buses, so it could be a smaller bus or it could be a bigger bus. But the fuel usage is almost identical. I think, what did we do the math on that? It was like,
yeah, so the ARBOC buses, the cutaways,
it was the smaller ones.
we're averaging about, I'd say about 7, if my memory is right,
Miles to the gallon.
miles to the gallon, 7 to 9, and our Gillies were running about 6,
Yeah.
which is the big
So they're pretty
coach
close.
buses.
So I wonder why the images were better fuel efficient.
On the, which one? The big ones or little?
The big one, or?
No, they're just,
I'm wondering why
The
The big
smaller
ones are
ones are
diesel?
more,
okay.
they're diesel and they're built for the longer hauls. They tend to be, I mean, I don't want to call it 6 miles to the gallon fuel efficient, but whereas our smaller buses tend to be less built for the longer haul. So, but they end up being pretty close cost wise, comparatively, give or take. The other problem you have is, and this is it's hard to see on a chart like this, is you'll have 25 people and you take them to, let's say in the morning, you have 25 people, do you take them to Oregon City, right? You have to get that bus back.
Yeah.
So you pick up one person, you bring it back. So it looks like there's only one person, but really you just took the 25 people this way. So you'll have 8 people going this way and 2 people coming back. Well, there's no way to get that bus has to come back. So you'll often see buses at certain times of the morning having more people, and you're looking at them coming practically empty the other direction. It's just like a truck. You know, you load up at the warehouse, you take it to Fred Meyer's, you unload the truck, you're driving an empty truck back to the warehouse. Yeah, it's not too
Oh, we
dissimilar.
should be measuring by round trip. Right?
We generally do, we generally measure by,
So here's every quarter hour, just to help kind of break
Yeah.
it down a little bit more.
I'm just,
no, we generally, what we tend to measure by is rides per mile and rides per hour, and we look for the most efficient way to do that. So in our cost per hour, our cost per mile, that's usually the numbers we go off of. How much are we spending per mile based on the number of riders type thing. So obviously our 99X is most efficient. I can't remember what the cost per mile is on that one. She's gonna pull out, she has all the spreadsheets. And of course, Dial-A-Ride is insanely inefficient and incredibly costly. But Dial-A-Ride is the service that's probably the most important. Not that the fixed route isn't important, but our Dial-A-Ride service, it really serves our elderly and disabled folks, the folks that can't get around. So we take them to the store, we take them to the doctor, we take folks to jobs that can't drive. We take a number of people to dialysis every day or every 3 days. So that's probably our most important city service is our Dial-A-Ride service. Because it's the one that really affects those who really have no other means of travel.
I'll give you a little insight into this. Last August, rides per, passengers per vehicle service mile weekday was 3.74
For fixed route?
for fixed
So,
route,
okay.
2.83 on the weekend for Saturday.
so, I guess another question, well, I keep,
No, ask away.
and you don't have to answer the question, it's not, yeah.
We'll probably just make it
I
out.
came slightly prepared, so.
So, due to the size of the buses and the ridership.
Yeah.
What would the increase of ridership be before you would either get more routes or more buses? In other words, I'm trying to think where the break points. I mean, whether we should be promoting more ridership. Or
Well, we should always be promoting more ridership. And really, honestly, I think our best, we need to do a better job of outreaching to our Hispanic community, which we've tried to do here. We've increased the number of routes to Woodburn so we were able to gain more efficiency. We had a lot of buses sitting and not moving because of the time it took to get from Oregon City back. And Heidi reanalyzed the routes and found some efficiencies. We were able to add more trips to Woodburn, which we've already seen the benefit from. We have a fairly sizable Hispanic community that utilize our bus system on our loop and our fixed route. And a lot of them are coming to and from Woodburn or just on the south side of town. So I think more promotion to the Hispanic community would be great. Heidi does Bridging Cultures. All our stuff is also in Spanish. We've done Spanish Facebook ads, trying to reach out to those communities, try to get more ridership there. That's a hard question to answer. The answer is if I wouldn't probably increase until I started having issues with buses where people were saying the buses are so full that they're getting far behind, or the buses are so full that we need to send a second bus behind it to start picking people up. Then we'd start having to talk about how do we increase the service to make sure it's, every half an hour during this time of the day or every 15 minutes during this time of the day. Right now, we don't really have the ridership for that level.
I'm just curious because I mean, I have ideas of how.
Yeah,
And one idea that would be that I thought would be good is if we gave out tickets for their business owners. Maybe not a lot, but a couple. That way they would get a chance to ride on it. Let's say something like, here's a free ticket. I mean, I don't think the cost would be very big. I've, over the years, personally, probably,
Yeah.
$1,000.
Arrows ads, yeah.
And, I haven't really used it much. I usually use it whenever I go to jury. Sign up there. If you're going to jury, you use the bus because they charge for parking on it.
Of course, they're moving that up the hill.
What?
That's going up the hill, so
Yeah.
they're
with the new
moving that up to
courthouse.
Red Soils, which we don't have a bus to.
TriMet does though, so you could catch our bus and catch TriMet.
My kids would use the bus.
Yeah.
Maybe promote it at the school.
No, I'd love to, that's a good suggestion. I'd like to see more business involvement or interest in our service. We did, when we started the loop, we went around to the various businesses and tried to get them engaged in, hey, we want to start the loop. What shifts do your workers work? Because the loop is free. And how can we serve your business with this loop? Because the goal is to provide a way for your folks to get to your business that don't necessarily have vehicles. And we got nobody.
Minimal.
So it was,
But I'm wondering,
We had some
how
feedback.
heavily at the high school
we do that.
and the middle school.
Yeah, I was actually
You see on the loop our high school students. You'll see a fairly large group in the morning going to school and fairly large group out. The middle school, we did shift our route because the middle school came to us and said, hey, can you kind of go by ours? And I don't think we did that. And I don't think we've seen that much ridership from them. We got a few kids that ride, but not a lot.
But, well, I mean, you have a little competition with the school bus system there at certain times, but it's also good
Yeah.
to have a bus
Mhm.
available, a schedule available for like after school activities and stuff, or not being the, school bus system.
Yep.
And I think and that's where I think would help out, well, I don't know. Because a lot of times, me as a parent,
Yep.
and whether it's rational or not, you're scared to send it on the city transit bus, but not on the school bus. It doesn't really make any sense. It's probably safer either way.
Well, it makes sense. I mean,
But I think the scariness goes down if you have a chance to ride it yourself.
Mhm.
For example, my son, when he started going to Clackamas Community College early, he didn't have a car. We said, well, let's take the bus.
Right.
And so we rode on with the bus a couple times with them, and then we're like, oh, that's nothing wrong, and we let them do it, but without going on it ourselves. We were afraid to send them on there without us checking it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the more adults check it out,
Mhm.
the more they become
They're kids. Yeah.
And that's why I'm thinking, everybody, I don't know, look at how it worked. We had like every employee in Canby, it's 5, or 2, or 1, or whatever. And then, and as I think we remember the last meeting we were at, the fares are a very small portion of
Yeah.
the budget, so I don't think.
It's 2%.
Having a couple free tickets out there is going to ruin the revenue.
I don't think a lot of the people that work in Canby necessarily ride the bus. We do a lot of people out of Canby for work. Like we shuffle a lot of people to Oregon City and they leave Canby for work. I don't think we shovel as many people in, but yeah, for work.
Yeah, but I'd say show people out, I'd say
Yeah.
by giving people,
Mhm.
let them feel more comfortable, and the more comfortable you feel out, the more likely they are to use it.
Right.
Like, and nothing quite says, use me if you get it free. Here's something free. Don't use this, you have to pay.
I would love to, and this is, my wish list for someday. I would love to see the service free, period. I mean, it's already being paid for between the businesses and the payroll tax. Yeah, people are already paying for it, so. But that's always a sore subject for folks because they feel like people should pay their fair share, which I understand. But
But while they're paying it though,
yeah.
Why not give away some?
Mhm.
Say, all candy or every business that has a cat, when they sell their cat.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Their quarterly cat.
Send them passes with their cat tags.
we could give tokens and stuff. I do tokens, complimentary tokens to like DHS when they ask.
Every quarter I walk in there,
yeah.
go there, give you a check. I mean, a lot of people do it now, but I do it to get exercise for the day, get out of my chair, walk over, but I always do that ritual. Want to be creative? Hey, thank you for your money. There's some tokens.
It's not a bad idea.
And then just to talk about the going on the bus and kind of learning it and getting more comfortable, we do offer training, travel training, we kind of call it. And I'm more than happy to help people plan, ride. Well, we always, like any of our new dial ride clients, we always give them 2 tokens because your first trip's on us, to kind of get them used to the program and how it works. So we have programs like that to help people who are a little weary, or parents who might be weary of having their kids go up to the college or something like that. We're more than happy to help and help show them how to use the service. We'll even ride TriMet. I'll even jump on a TriMet bus with them and go up to the college.
I didn't even notice, you're saying that, say, I wanted to have my kid go to college, that I could call up transit and say, how do I do that? And somebody would help me.
I would help you.
We'd help you.
That's
We'd
part of
help
my
you.
job.
We'd help you, and
Yeah, I didn't know that was available.
we'd give you free passes to make that transition. We
Yep.
also offer
We also have
fare
our
assistance
websites.
for folks who don't have enough money.
Mhm.
They can call us up and they can fill out an application that says, I need help, and that can be good for free passes for the entire year.
Or a
We
reduced
do that
fare.
for folks as well. We get, a lot of that comes from donations. People put money in the fare box as donations, and we use that money to help fund free passes for folks who need it as well, so.
I want to actually mention that in this county.
Yep.
And maybe everybody knows this information.
Well, and you can also throw out my name, my phone number.
Do that, put that on Facebook too.
My desk number. Let's not go with my cell phone, please.
Every time in the past where you said something on Facebook, I knew it was right.
No, I don't care. Most people on Facebook know I'm part of the transit because I post a lot of our stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, they can call me and I will assist with any type of trip planning. I can print out. I can also give them resources on making their own trip planning, like our Ride Clackamas website, getting our app on their phone. I can help with a lot of stuff like that.
I think when I go to the company, I asked me what last time I asked you, I didn't even say that I didn't say that.
Yeah.
But
We'll give you a laundry list if
We
you
only
like.
do this every 2 months, so you won't have.
If I said that enough times, people would say, okay, so if my kid needed to go to PCC for school, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you could figure out how to get them to PCC.
Yep.
By taking the loop and then the 99X and then whatever else.
Yep, and then either Wilsonville or TriMet and work their way up there.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Saturdays are always free. So all our services are free on Saturdays. So anybody who wants to go somewhere on Saturdays, you just jump on, and of course the loop is always free. So, yep, anything that's funded by the State Transportation Improvement Fund, that's HB 2017, is free.
You have like colorful flyers that say what the bus routes is.
Yes, we do. You didn't bring any of those, did you?
What's that?
Flyers.
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
We do. We also have a website, rideclackamas.org, which includes our stuff as well as all. You want to pull that up?
I'm trying to.
Slow.
Thingy I don't want to.
If it looks like nice and pretty or something like that, then you could put something to put it in my office, because I get a lot of people during certain times of the year come to my office that are Hispanic or don't have cars, and they're always waiting around to figure out how to get back to Woodburn or wherever it is, and they're calling up or whatever, and they could say, hey.
Yep.
Yeah, I do have flyers for the Ride Clackamas, and they can like scan the QR code and it goes right to the website.
Yeah, so this is our Ride Clackamas website, and it includes all the Clackamas County partners. No, we have flyers too, but this is also a website we have as well. So if somebody is tech savvy, they can actually click on this and then plan their ride from here, and it'll map out exactly where they need to go, which is pretty cool. Yeah. But yes, we have a lot of flyers. We can bring them by.
Like here is a trip planner, so you can.
I know what you mean about having a paper schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have paper schedules, and I can also provide them in extra large print.
Promote this.
Yeah.
To hang it up in like tee it off enough. Maybe the first time they don't care, second time, okay, repetition, and most of the, or a good portion of like
Go to one of
downtown, and all the main businesses has one of those, like anything that has a lot of employees, should have the break room or wherever else.
That's a good idea too. We should.
The data, and that's what I was asking the question, like, if we over promote this, is it gonna cause a problem or not?
No, we're good.
Well, I mean, with money.
I think the poster idea is a good idea. We'll create a poster that has the routes on it.
Yeah, we can do that. So like here, I did a trip plan to
Make a
one of my
pretty
favorite
poster.
places, Providence Park. So you can do this on the ride Clackamas. Hey, go Timbers. I'm a big Timber fan, so, and Thorns, gotta love the Thorns. So this gives you a layout on leaving right now to get up to Providence Park via the 99X, the Oregon City Transit Center, and then on the Max Blue Line. So this,
Yeah, and then-
just because TriMet's not on this website, it does trip plan with any service in this area, so. Anyway,
Right, yeah, let me see your pen. I gotta write that poster idea. I think that's a great
there you
idea.
go.
I think we should get some of those. So we
So
can
you
have
imagine, like I say, well, people going through or coming to farm, maybe going through and visiting businesses, hey, you want to put up a flyer or a flyer?
Yep.
I think that Cambria Loop itself, and then like as a map,
Mhm.
and then the Route 99, maybe just at the time, because obviously that's just kind of.
yeah, it's pretty straight.
99, everybody knows what that is.
Yeah.
You know what that is, you're probably gonna make it do it. And then that way you can say, oh, there's a bus stop near my house, you know, people.
Yeah.
No, that's a good idea. I like that. Thank you. I like. No, we're good. Yeah. No, it's good. These are good questions. I like that. We don't have a poster. We do have flyers, but I like the idea of getting something larger, more postery format, something a little bit bigger. Color and pretty.
And like I say, when,
Yeah.
especially when they have these.
Yeah.
Everybody who has a lot of workers should have that in the break room.
Yeah.
So they can say, hey, my shopping, I mean,
No, that's great. Any more questions? Yeah, ask away. Because that's, yeah. Did you have more on the operations report? We kind of got away from it.
If you want me to.
Let's go back to the operations report.
Of course, after I stop screen sharing. Of course. Now, I'll just,
the information, stuff I don't know. And
Yeah.
the thing I say is that if I don't know it, I'm sure that maybe other people don't.
Yeah.
so here's our weekend ridership by route service. So our fixed route ridership is up by about almost 35%. So we're doing pretty good there. And then our dial-a-ride is also up. So overall, our weekend ridership is up by almost 29.33% here in total, comparative. And then for, oops, my bad. And then our overall ridership service. So overall, we're up 8.27% on the 99. Again, 77, 78 on the loop. But again, we're comparing to numbers from last year after we had just started. So it had still been warming up. And then our dial-a-ride is up also by 1.29%. So it's kind of leveling off comparative to where it was before. So overall, we're up about 16% in ridership. So we're doing pretty good. And hopefully next meeting I'll have more numbers for you. We can kind of see how the numbers change with the new schedule and see if there's any improvements.
I think we're still about 200 off of pre-pandemic levels for the
Yeah.
dial-a-ride. We're
Yeah.
pretty close on the 99X though,
Yeah.
to what it was pre-pandemic.
Well,
And of course, the loop didn't
our
exist.
general public has reduced greatly since the loop came into play. So
I got a question about Shopper Shuttle. How has it gone with the transition?
You can't tell the difference.
Our dial ride is very busy. It's getting a lot more filled. People are choosing a lot more different times.
It's
We did have some of our regulars voice their displeasure. But they're coming around, and we've also provided them resources because a lot of them were upset because the shopper shuttle was free.
Yeah.
And it made it easier for them to travel. Whereas now they have to pay the fare. So I'm working with them on different programs we have with like fare assistance and stuff to assist with that. So.
And some of the complaints were just they thought they couldn't get to the store anymore. So some of it was.
Yeah, that too. There was a
Some
little
of it was just
confusion.
education of, no, we will still pick you up at your house. The difference is, now.
You pick your time.
You can pick your time instead of it being a blocked time. So that was for some reason, a huge hurdle. People thought, well, there's no more shopper shuttle, we can't go to the store anymore. And so, but we got past that. But yeah, and then we're working on fare assistance for the folks who felt like they couldn't, afford it. So we're helping those folks. So that shouldn't be an issue for them. And then, of course, so we've seen a nice bump in our dial ride from that. So they've been a lot busier. So contractors going to have to shore themselves up a little bit because they had dropped down to 2 drivers a day roughly. And now they're back up to really needing 3.
Yeah, 3 if not.
Plus they now need another driver to cover Saturdays as well as some other pieces of work. So they're going to have to hire another driver, which they've needed for a while. So that's a good problem to have. But yeah. Yep. Yeah, they have, right now our Saturday loop is being covered by somebody from Yamhill.
Yeah, a gentleman out of Yamhill.
Yeah, who comes over for that. Yamhill is the same company. The Transdev runs them as well. So Transdev is a large organization, international, in fact. They also, one of their, I think it's kind of funny, but one of their branches is Veolia, which runs the city's water plant. So.
I do want to show you guys just because I know there was a lot of worry about our Cami loop running a little bit later and stuff like that. So we had our Saturday service this last week. So we actually did have 2 people rode after the 8 o'clock hour. So, and this is only the second day of this Saturday service. So
the first time we missed
it's actually doing, we missed part of it, but it's actually doing fairly well for how soon it started. So, and we are getting ridership late at night, which is great. So, I mean, heck, I might ride it to go have dinner or something like that and not have to worry about driving.
So yeah, this is only the second Saturday it's been in place. And out of that, we missed the entire evening of the first Saturday because the contractor didn't have a body to drive it. So now we do. So hopefully as the word gets out more and more that the Saturday service is there, we'll see more ridership on it. Because, we have 4 people at 8 o'clock.
30 people for that day is pretty good for just starting out, in my opinion.
So hopefully it'll bump up. Yep. Right now our loop does about 80 to 100 people a day on average. So 99X does what, 250, I believe?
Yeah, almost 300.
Yeah. And then the Dial-A-Ride does about 60 to 80 depending on signups. So we do about 80 to 82,000. That's what we do annually right now. So, which isn't too bad. Hmm? Go for it. Yeah, talk away.
How would you like to turn the next workers, for instance? So I just did the math. If you live 10 miles away, the IRS thinks that it costs 65 cents a mile to drive a car, and you can Raised,
I mean,
tax-free for them.
I like that kind of math. People don't see it quite that way. So,
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
In business consulting arrangements. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, you could take advantage of this and you could, it's equivalent to a raise.
Right,
Like we do analysis about working close to home or far away from home. And if you're a part-timer and you have a half-hour commute from out, and you're basically worth about $4 or $5 an hour.
right,
To be close rather than far, transportation costs.
right,
And, for somebody that's not making a whole lot of money, that you can say, hey, $30 a day, it's tax-free because you're gonna save money.
right,
Tax-
right. You're not being taxed on it, right?
Anyway, I just popped in my head, I was just doing a little math.
Mhm.
I do math.
Yeah, that's strange for a tax guy. We do math too. But not quite to that level, but yeah,
No, I just always converting things into dollars.
dollars, cents, yeah. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Well, no, Paul.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. It's all good,
Yeah,
if you would like.
if you'd like.
Are you ready to end the meeting?
Or do you?
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
We generally only go about an hour unless we have quite a bit to talk about, so. An hour, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, less than an hour.
So we're going to adjourn the meeting at 6:57 PM. Thank you very much.